So, Vicky, as we move forward, I want to make sure that I get a couple of concepts out of you on the table, if you will,
Okay.
because I think it's really key to people understanding what Autism Shifts is all about. So, the first is, what is autism? Uh, what are unique abilities, and how do you see autism reimagined? So, first, I kind of share with you how I tell people what autism is in my own way. I tell them it's like if you found Michael Jordan, uh, but he was part of a nomadic tribe in the middle of the desert. And what they did was they went around from place to place and had camped out. And he really was just the incredible basketball player that he is. But he couldn't share with anybody that he had this ability to do it. And nothing about the environment that he was in really lent itself to seeing what he could do really well as a talent. It wasn't something that fit in very well, but there was this place where they needed a Michael Jordan, right? And they're looking around and they're getting versions of Michael Jordan. And there's some really good people, but if they could ever figure out a way to find Michael Jordan and get him in their environment, he would rise up and be one of the best people doing playing the game of basketball, so to speak.
Right.
So when I look at autism, it's like a population full of people who have these incredible abilities, and sometimes they just can't share with us. We can't see it more so.
Right.
And if we knew more about them, we would help them find their basketball courts, so to speak, so they could thrive and become as incredible as they are. And I don't want to overstate that to feel like everybody we talk to has an ability is Michael Jordan,
Right.
but more so that they can be the Michael Jordan of whatever it is that they're doing.
Yes.
And I don't care if it's something simple as doing your hair, washing your car, making you a cup of coffee, or designing a web page.
Right.
I don't know what it could be.
Yep.
Can you kind of hit those? What is autism?
Yeah.
What are unique abilities, and how do you see autism reimagined?
Well, let me start with the unique ability, because you know that we use that term a lot. In fact, it's one word. We kind of created it together for this population, because I truly believe that every person with autism comes in with a unique ability. Okay, and they may not know what it is yet. I believe many of them do know, and I'll give you a conversation I had with a student that was looking to come through our program, and I always ask the question, "What do you love to do? What do you want to do?"
Mm-hmm.
And this young man, sat there, and he had a smile on his face, and so I gave him a little bit of time, and after about a minute, I said, "Do you know what that is and not want to share? Or do you not know what it is?" And he said, "I don't want to share." And I said, "Why is that?" And he said, "Because I don't think it's possible."
Wow.
So if you have something that you really want to do and you don't think it's possible, and today there's a 90% unemployment rate.
Right.
So right away, I'm a person with autism that comes in saying, there's not a lot of opportunity for me, right? I'm not seeing that. I'm not seeing that I could do some of the things I want to do. That puts you in a not so good feeling place, and could shut you down from really believing that's even possible for you. So I encounter a lot of those situations where a young person may not think what they really want to do is possible for them. Now, we also have another group that hasn't had enough experience to even know what that is. But whatever it is, it doesn't have to be, like you said, it doesn't have to be a superstar type of thing.
Right.
Although we do see those. We do have superstars on our team that are amazing artists, amazing musicians. It could be that, hey, I just want to do this data entry. I like working in computers, or I just want to be able to work in a kitchen, or whatever that is to that person that's meaningful and it's calling them. First of all, it's creating in them a sense that that can happen. And then secondly, it's creating the pathway, because one of the things people with autism are teaching us is if you're doing what you're passionate about and what you can do really well, and you combine that with an opportunity, a match, man, that's a great place to live, isn't it? Don't we all want to live in that place where we're living to our full potential?
It's funny you mentioned that, because while you were speaking, and I'm trying my best to stay quiet and listen, but all I keep hearing in my mind is, isn't that what every parent wants for their
Everybody.
child?
Yeah.
Isn't that what people want for themselves, the people they care about? Even when you deal with somebody doing a job that's just unhappy,
Right.
right?
Yes.
You wish that, man, I wish this person could find something they love to do and do that thing really well.
Yeah.
And do that thing with their whole self.
Right.
Be 100% present in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
When you mention unique abilities, I think it reminds me that it's not just about the actual ability.
Right.
It's about the ability to be 100% in whatever it is that you're in,
Right.
and then possibilities and opportunities change.
Right.
If I don't see something as a possibility for success, it's really difficult unless there's something wrong with you, so to speak. Like,
Right.
there's a mental issue where you'd want to do something the best you could, knowing that there was no opportunity to succeed.
That's exactly right.
It doesn't make any sense, right?
Yeah, and exactly, and that's a big part of our program is the self-discovery. Is, hey, sometimes if I'm living in this red zone place, I either have pushed that down or I can't even see it. But when I start to get myself in this green zone space, I start looking at what are the possibilities for me right now? What is it that I really like to do? And you start giving yourself the freedom to be able to think about that in a new way. And that's part of the process we go through with these young people. Sometimes they come in not knowing, sometimes they don't want to even go there because it's too painful. And if you can get to the point where you could say, you know what, there's a pathway to everything you want. But the first step is kind of starting to get some clarity around what that is. Even if it's just at a high level, hey, I want to lead an independent life. I want a job that I love going to every day. I want a family. Whatever that might be for you, at first, it's just really understanding what that is. A lot of things can't happen until you go through that process of creating that for yourself and then seeing that there is starting to be hopeful and optimistic that there is a path to everything I want.
So it kind of starts with a vision.
You have to have a vision. And again, that's why I get so excited when I work with some of these students, because when you see that coming to the surface and they know, and you start believing it with them, right? That's what we as parents and caregivers can do, is go from fear that there's nothing out there for my child to, wow, hope, optimism that, you know what? There's a reason why they may want to do that. And there's a pathway to be able to help him achieve that or her. So
let me ask this question, because I think that we're starting to drive to a really important point here. Because we're not talking about the reality of autism. We're talking about the imagined reality of autism.
yes.
Right? The person you're talking to doesn't want to share what they want to do, their passion or their goal, because they cannot imagine
Right.
the success there. How are you helping to redefine or reimagine, if you will, autism? How do you see autism reimagined?
And that's, you've hit upon the key thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
That first you have to start imagining what that looks like. What does a new world for autism look like, right? We already know what this world looks like that we're currently in, right? We have 90% unemployment. We have 70% of our children, our young adults, living dependently. We have families that are fearful about what's going to happen. And as a parent, sometimes the biggest fear is what happens to our child when we die, right? And then you have businesses that, gosh, I see businesses needing really good, passionate employees with these unique abilities, and sometimes not even being able to find those. So if we go from our current reality to imagining a new world, reimagine, right? That's where reimagine autism comes from. What if we could imagine a world where our individuals with autism could lead their life on purpose using their unique abilities? What if we could imagine that families today that are touched by autism are living in this place of optimism and joy about the future? Imagine if businesses could understand autism and create an environment where they could take full advantage of these unique abilities of individuals with autism. And imagine a world where autism is integrated into our broader communities. That is the new vision. We first have to get to a place where we can even say, see it. Oh, wow. That's what we're looking at. That's what we want to create.
So I want to make sure I'm hearing you correctly, and that everybody else can hear this as well. I think this is really important. What you're saying is that we have to first imagine things differently,
Yes.
and in order to do that, we have to basically start that process we talked about before, was recognizing where you are,
Right.
being okay with where you are right now,
Yep.
but seeing the opportunity for a different future,
Right.
and then starting to imagine that future, and that allowing you to start taking the steps towards creating that future.
Correct.
Would that be a good way to put those things together?
That would be a great way. Because if we're only looking at what is and we can't see beyond what is, we just recreate more of what is, right?
Mhm.
And we've done that. I mean, autism has been stigmatized for a very long time. It's not until we stop and really start clearly seeing what is it that we want to create, right? At that point, that's the shifting point, right? Autism shifts.
Right.
That's the shifting point where we're looking at, this is what we want it to look like now. And what we're doing now is inviting people who want to be a part of creating that world. Okay. And it's okay if you're over here today, but I think something in us triggers, just like it did with me, that we say, man, this is not a fun world to live in, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not having much joy over here. I'm feeling bad most of the time. That when we have a vision of what we can create, okay, that's what keeps us moving forward, taking steps to create that new world.